Hello, welcome to Access Paranormal. My name's Jamie Williams, and guess who's in the studio with me yet again? Hello, James.
Hello, it's nice to be back again. Lovely to be back again. 5 weeks in a row now. When I first started, every week I say this, when I first started you said it was only going to be 2 weeks, and it goes up and up and up, doesn't it? Anyway, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks very much. And yourself?
Yeah, not too, as well as can be, current situation as it is,
yeah.
you know. So have you had a good week?
Had a brilliant week, to be honest with you. We've done a little bit of a task what you put to us.
Yes, so the task was the paranormal challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got a bit of an issue with this, Jamie, because the idea behind the paranormal challenge, you were supposed to go out on your own and do something, and you didn't, did you?
Well, I did go out on my own, but I had Marie with me, which was the challenge. But a couple of friends came with us who I didn't expect to, and they didn't expect it neither.
Well, that's good though, isn't it? So was it? And we're going to hear that later in the show, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
So was it a fun night?
Fantastic.
Was it?
Some of the stuff, what happened on the night was unbelievable. Which we didn't expect. We were surprised because I thought we were going to go to this place and just do a paranormal investigation and nothing's going to happen, or nothing's that is weird going to happen. You expect noises and things like that, but we didn't expect what we got on the night.
No, absolutely. Well, I've had a pretty busy week. It's just been kind of busy with work, everything such as that. And I think I know all of us are obviously feeling quite stressed with the current situation nationally with the coronavirus, aren't we? And it's it's just such a strange time for everything, really, isn't it?
It really is a strange time. The world's turned upside down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where we didn't wear masks, we now have to wear them. If you don't wear them, you look strange. So it's completely changed altogether.
Not half. And I think, I know we've been discussing about kind of our hobby of paranormal investigations and things. And the interesting thing is we are very much able to do them socially distanced, aren't we?
Yeah, for the show, for the likes of this show, there's only a couple of us anyway, so we are keeping our social distance and we are keeping safe.
Yeah. So any other news for the listeners? What have you been climbing any mountains or falling down any hills or anything like that?
James, if I was climbing mountains, you'd be contacting me through a Ouija board.
Contacting you through a Ouija board, yeah. It's interesting. I was watching yesterday. I was watching the Stephen King film It. Have you seen the new ones?
I've seen both.
Part one.
Yeah.
And what did you think of them?
They're okay. They're nowhere near as good as the first one, but I think sometimes they go over the top with these things, but the way they done it was good.
Yeah.
I think the scariest part though was when the little kid was near the gutter.
Oh, and
it was there to try and entice him in.
And it bit his arm off.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
And the original, because it was Tim Curry was in the original one, wasn't he?
That's right, yeah.
I'm a big Tim Curry fan.
Wasn't John Boy in it from the Waltons?
I think he was, yeah. I'll have to have a look in a minute. But they didn't show Georgie getting attacked by Pennywise in the original, did they? They just showed him open his mouth and scream. Whereas in this one, it kind of, I don't really want to spoil it for people, but it's quite horrific, really, what it does. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. I thought they were. I've not quite finished part 2 yet, or chapter 2, but I thought they were really good.
Yeah, the CGI and it was fantastic. But the thing is, it starts off this craze of the clowns out in the streets and things like that. Especially in the USA, it went really wild over there.
Yeah.
I only ever seen it once. I was driving along, and I seen something in the corner of my eye. But as I'm coming along, and as I went along, there's a clown standing in the road, coming at me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just drove around him and carried on. I just thought, idiot.
I thought you were going to say you drove over him then. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because I'm a big fan of horror, and I tend to. I don't know about you, but I tend to shy away from the really kind of the ones that are just kind of slasher gore. I like kind
Scream.
of I like kind of stuff that's very suspenseful. So a really favourite one of mine, actually, I don't know whether you've seen The Woman in Black before. Have you seen?
No, I've not seen that yet.
Well, I've seen the theatre production in London and in Liverpool when it toured to Liverpool. And there's 2 film versions. There's a new one with Daniel Radcliffe in, which came out a couple of years ago. And there's an old version from I think the late 80s, which has got Andy Nyman in it. And that original version, I like the new version, but the original version, I love it. There's just something about the suspense, and because it's very kind of. Do you know what the story of the Woman in Black is?
Yeah.
So for anyone who's not familiar, basically there is a house, and a solicitor goes there because I think it's in probate, isn't it? And the house is haunted by the spectre of a woman in black. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it for everybody. But that original 80s version, if you've not seen it, you can get it at the moment. In fact, it's just been re-released in HD, and it's a fantastic film. And that's what I love. It's the suspense and kind of when it's almost, you don't necessarily see something, but it's putting the thought in your mind, and your imagination makes up the rest.
There's one really good film I've done that as well. It was called The Sixth Sense.
Oh yes, of course.
That was a brilliant film, because I mean, I'm not going to say anything because obviously some people may not have watched it.
Yeah.
But the way it was done, it played with your mind a little bit.
Is that with Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, yeah. And the little lad, I can't think of his name now.
No, he's been in lots of stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he was in lots of stuff, yeah.
That's a good film. And the other one is The Others.
Oh, The Others, yeah. That is a really good film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good film. I like films like that.
Yeah.
And I also like the old kind of films as well. Have you ever seen that, The Ghost of Miss Muir?
No, I've not seen that, no.
Watch it. It's an really old film. It's, very old film. It's a bit, it's not scary or nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's quite a nice thing to watch, and you watch the tense films. I like watching all the, the ones where they have you on the edge of the seat and like that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you another one is, I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and I said to him, just watch this. And on YouTube it is. It's a couple of fellas, and they're called. I'll say the name. It's called Mind Seed TV.
Mind Seed TV. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's on YouTube, is it?
It is, yeah. And some of the stuff they get is phenomenal.
Oh right.
And they actually, it's actual genuine paranormal investigations.
Right.
They're only on for about 38 minutes, but they've got one out there now. It's about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff they capture is brilliant. And they're so serious as well. You can see the seriousness in them. Yeah. And I just found it by, when you're looking through YouTube and you start, I'll have a look what that is. Oh, what's this, man? And I put it on. And from that moment, now I've subscribed to it. And whenever they come on, I can't wait for the next one to come out, because they're that good.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. You're kind of hooked into it. I mean, there's a few different YouTube ones that I like, kind of paranormal things and stuff like that. But I think kind of just going back to the film thing we was just discussing. Yeah. One of the things I really love is when you get an anthology of films and series. So I'm a big fan of American Horror Story, which is, I don't know if you've seen that, but it's a
good few of them.
Yeah, it's
My son loves them.
Well, that goes over. I think it's on season it's season 8 at the moment. The latest one was either season 7 or season 8. And that's fantastic, and has its own kind of, there's lots of ghosts and all sorts of stuff in it. But I was thinking the other day, I've not seen the Annabelle films. There was the first one. Was it the Conjuring, the first one?
Conjuring, I've seen them.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first one. I've also seen The Nun, but I've not seen the other ones.
I highly recommend them.
Are they good?
Yeah, and it's like Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah,
and they are my, they're my like heroes. Them two, They gave it, the way they done things. They were so professional and everything else. And watch The Conjuring. You've seen it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen them, watch them.
Yeah.
Superb.
The second film was about the Enfield poltergeist, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I remember first learning about that years ago. Do you remember the BBC series Strange But True?
I do. Yeah.
With Michael Aspel.
Yeah.
I remember watching that on there. And if you remember, there was a point where they got the girl who was kind of the focus of the poltergeist to speak, and they recorded it, and the guy had a really kind of aggressive voice, didn't he? Kind of like that, and that scene was in the film. And I remember at the time, I must have only been young, and I watched that on the telly, and it terrified me because it was that kind of creepy voice. It was absolutely scary. But it goes to show you how. We love to be scared, don't we?
We do, and I think everybody out there doesn't matter who it is, even if the skeptics have had an experience that they can't explain. You know, if you, I mean, I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. You know, if you say to someone, "Oh yeah, what do they say to us? You know, what you do? You know, what's your hobbies?" Yeah, we do ghost hunts. Or even if you mention you do ghost hunts, oh, I had an experience once, and they'll quite happily tell you the story.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, and everyone, and everyone, even if they haven't had one themselves, they'll know of something. Oh, you know. And well, I've never seen anything, but you know, I know of somebody who experienced this and experienced that, and that's the really interesting thing about it, isn't it? It'd be great if somebody could, and I know there's a lot of authors who write about paranormal investigations, but wouldn't it be great if we could just get like a massive, huge book of all the ghost stories that people have got?
Well, there's lots of books out there, you know, but I love them stories. And when somebody tells you them, and you know, you can see in the face, you know, what they've, when they're telling you that they're engrossed in it. They're replaying it themselves. They're actually there again telling you. And I love that part of it, you know, when they're telling you.
Yeah. So, Jamie, who have we got coming up as our guest on today's show?
Well, later on, we've got Chris Bowyer from IHaunt, who I interviewed last week. And also, we've got Dave Little from Shadow Walkers, who's on with us now. So, hi, Dave. Are you okay?
Hi, good evening, guys. Thanks for having me on your show.
Not a problem. Dave, can you tell us straight away a little bit about your group, please?
Yes, so Shadow Walkers, our group, we're a team-only group of these 8 of us in total. We all originally met, some call it by fate, but we were working with another paranormal group who ran public events. So we all applied for positions within that group as volunteers to help them out on their public events all over the UK. And then over time, what sort of happened was we all, one by one, you know, made really good friends with each other and decided that we wanted to move away from the public scene, should we say, and try and get together our own team where we could go and investigate different locations as a team only rather than a public event. So it has greater we all found that it has greater rewards. It gives us the ability to investigate buildings in our own time, at our own pace. There's buildings that we've been to that's got several rooms, ballrooms, cellars, attics. But sometimes we find that just one room is that active. We spend the majority of the time in just the one room, you know, 6 or 7 hours in the one room, depending if it's active or not. Not really something we could do when we're doing a public event because of obviously the demand of the guests on a public event. We need to show them around the whole building and let them see what the building has to offer. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, and how long have you been going for, Dave?
Well, Shadow Walkers themselves, we've been formed as a team only now for around about 12 months. It's been now that we've been actively going to locations and doing our own thing. The team have known each other now for the best part of 2 years. We joined, as I say, initially we joined another company. So yeah, we've known each other best part of 3 years now. Ourselves, Shadow Walkers, we've been going for about 12 months now, and we're just looking forward to 2021 now, really. We've sort of drawn a line under this year for obvious reasons with the current pandemic that we've got. It's it's affected everybody, not just us.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week regarding, you know, some groups have, you know, fell by the way, sadly.
Yeah.
Dave, about your team members, have you all got like their own roles in, you know, within your group itself, and what do they do?
Yeah, well, I mean, there isn't. I wouldn't say there's no specific leader, shall we say? The reason that we did it all was so that we're all on a sort of level playing field and we could all bounce ideas off each other. We've actually got 2 married couples within the team. The first married couple, Jeff and Mandy, vast amounts of experience in the paranormal industry. I mean, they've got over 30 years experience between them. They started off before, as you know, popular TV shows in this country and obviously abroad as well. Before any of that became popularised, Jeff and Mandy were resident attendees on radio shows and things like that. They'd go out to troubled residents of houses and buildings, and they're very much into the side of the spiritual side, so removing of any negative spirits that could be in buildings or in people's houses. So they've got a vast amount of experience in that area of the paranormal, which adds another dimension onto our group, really. That was something that we thought that we could offer to venues if they needed it. Another married couple, Mike and Sarah, they've been friends with Jeff and Mandy now for many years, and they were sort of took under the wings of Jeff and Mandy and sort of educated and trained to pick up on certain things. A perfect example is only last week we did an investigation in a place in Liverpool, and one of my close friends came along for the night, and he said at the time, it feels daft that I need to explain this, but he said, I've got a woman's picture in my head, and without a second thought, Jeff threw a piece of paper over to him. Now, Jeff is one of these, he will sit back on an investigation and he'll start writing words down, he'll write names down, he'll even draw pictures. And he'd drawn a picture and he said to my friend, I've just drawn this picture. And my friend was astonished because the picture that he'd drawn was almost a like for like as to the image that he saw in his head. And like Jeff said to him, most people will go into a place, they'll get images or feelings and they'll just brush it aside as if it's, I'm not saying anything. And this is where Jeff and Mandy really excel in the team, because they help the rest of us within the team to try and identify feelings, images that you get, and train us really onto adapting that into trying to work out what is in each venue and trying to understand it. So yeah, we also have another lady who's based in Bristol, Jo, and as most of our events that we do, they are up in the northwest. You can imagine how grateful we are for her to travel all the way up to the northwest from Bristol. We really are grateful, but in the meantime, we're trying to get her to try and find us locations, sort of that neck of the woods, really. And there is some amazing locations down where she's based. So we're certainly for 2021, we're trying to gather new venues and investigate more places as a team. Yeah.
Yeah, and how you found? You were saying about you trying to get locations down in Bristol and things like that. Tell you what, she comes a long way.
She certainly does, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, credit to her, mind you. She must be dedicated to be that far away.
She is. She's a great member of the team. Again, she's got a lot of experience, and she is part of other groups within her area as well, where she does investigations down there. So that's great, because she brings another angle to what we're doing as well. She's got good experience as well herself.
Yeah, well, my cousin Andrew, he lives down in Wiltshire, and he was in a paranormal group down there, and he said it's a really good area to investigate. I was going to ask, when you're looking for venues now, because of this COVID-19, how are you finding it looking for these for the locations? Are you finding it easy? Are you finding it difficult? About the prices as well, some of the prices at the moment, I've heard the price, they're putting them up. Yeah. I mean, the one good thing that I suppose that we have is this. We're part of a group which is it's an advisory group for paranormal teams and investigators, where it's almost like it's like a compare the market, but for paranormal teams. if you get what I mean. So paranormal teams, whether you're doing public events or just team only events like us, it's a group that we're in where
everybody can share venues, locations, contact details for people at the locations, and experiences, and the best way to go about things. We found that, I mean, obviously we have to abide by government legislation, and we have to stick to the rules. With us being only a small team, it's not been too bad. I mean, obviously when there was the complete lockdown, the whole paranormal world went into lockdown as well, like everywhere else.
That's right.
Yeah. Slowly we have seen it slowly coming back up, but obviously in recent times, certainly over the next few weeks, things are going to have to be slowly put on hold again. Until, I mean, we're like every business. We've got to go by what the government say. You know, we're not in it to break the law. We're in it for our own love of the industry. And if we have to abide by any government and legislations and law that we have to, then we will. We just have to sit back and be patient and hope that we can all get through this eventually and get back to what we love doing, really.
That's it. I mean, tell us a few of the locations you've been to. Well, which one's your favourite as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few locations we've been to. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That was, you know, including when we all used to work for this company we used to do public events with, and then also the venues that we've been to as a team as well. One of my personal favourites was Gloucester Prison. You know, obviously for the history of the kind of inmates that were there, as I'm probably aware. Most of your listeners know that the very famous Fred West was prisoned there at the time. We found that most prisons were they added a different feeling to them, because I think in your mindset you've got this preconception of it's a prison, all these bad people, you used to be there, and you have a preconception of what kind of possible spirits or ghosts could be there. We've been to old hospitals. There was a place in Liverpool, Newsham Park. We did Newsham Park.
Yeah, it's a good one.
A fantastic place, I have to admit, Jamie. Absolutely fantastic place. We only did it the once, and I have to say it's probably in my top 3 favourite venues that we have been to. I think, again, another venue which I would say is in the top 3 is, and again, most paranormal people that listen to your show will know about this place, is a place called East Drive, which is in Pontefract in Yorkshire. Completely different feeling to it compared to anywhere else I've been. It's like stepping back in time going into the place. The owner of the building, it's actually a house that dates back to a family that had it in the 70s, and it's been sort of addressed as the poltergeist house. It's different. The owners tried to keep everything as it was back in the 70s when the house was occupied by the family that were forced out by the supposed poltergeist. So when you go in there, it's like stepping back in time. But the house is so active. It's unreal. All of our electrical equipment that we use for the investigations were going off, and then in response to questions we asked. Just a phenomenal place, and it's somewhere that I would recommend to anybody to go and try and investigate. I would say probably top of my list is a place that I've been to in Liverpool. Now, I know that the owner of the venue does want to keep it quite confidential, so I don't think it would be right for me to give the exact location, but it's an old residential mansion that's now shut down. It's Stoops history. It was used as a hospital during the World War. It's been used as a school with nuns that lived in an outhouse at the side of it. It was used by the Freemasons, and even now it's still used by production companies for TV filming, movie filming, backdrops for photo shoots. And I was quite fortunate to get the details of the owner of the property and cheekily ask if it was possible for me and my team to go and investigate it. And thankfully, you know, the owner agreed and let us go in there. I've never been in anywhere like it in my life. Initially, the feeling of being watched constantly, but we've been there 3 times now, and we've got another 2 more booked in for October. And the place is great. I'm just really sorry that I can't say exactly where it is. The owner, you know, he wants to keep it quite confidential. He doesn't want it to be commercialised as much as other places. And he wants, you know, we have to respect his decision, and that's the way that we move forward. Really, is being respectful to people that own these buildings.
Yeah, it's just being respectful to that person, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I agree with that one. You know, I mean, I'm glad that's your most haunted place. So what experiences have you had? You know, in these investigations. I mean, we were talking before about Newsham, and I really enjoyed going there. I've done there 3 or 4 times now.
Newsham Park,
so,
yeah.
Of the locations you've been to, what's the most paranormal experience that you've had?
Well, Gloucester Prison, I personally set up a static night vision camera, and I set that up in an area of the prison that was known as the chapel. So where the inmates were allowed to go and pray and attend services whilst they were in the prison. I thought that would be a good place to set my night vision camera up. I caught some very, very interesting, people call them orbs, some people call them dust, some say that the flying insects, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, these things were unreal. Flashing lights. There was one that sort of went, it was a very, very bright white, almost like a feather, and it went up the screen, and then it floated down like a feather, and then sort of transformed in shape and shot across the front of the camera. The evidence that I caught there on video was unreal. I've also, after doing Newsham Park, a couple of days later, I caught something in my own property, in my own house in the conservatory. I was in there doing a bit of filming within the conservatory. We've got reflective windows on the roof, and I was just in there doing a little bit of calling out and asking for any spirit lights or anyone present to show themselves. And I actually caught a very disturbing black figure shoot across the bottom of my screen from left to right very fast.
In your own house? This is in my own house now. I've edited the video, I've slowed it down, I've enhanced the image. It's frightening. People that have shown it have been, you know, bewildered by what it is. It's very difficult to see. It was low light, but I didn't see it at the time when I was recording. It's only when I was reviewing the video that I seen it, and then I rewound it and checked it again. And it's frightening, but things do seem to have started happening in my house since I've been doing this kind of work. I mean, I've been doing it, like I said, for 3 years now, a couple of years with the company that we used to do public events with, and then a year team only. But ever since then, we do seem to have started having things happen in our own house. A lot of people say you can take spirits back to your house. I don't think that may be the case with what I'm currently doing with my team, because we follow protection precautions, and you know, we make sure that we're fully grounded and protected in all the locations that we go to. Wasn't necessarily always the case when we did the public events. So whether something has
happened there when I've been to a location and something's attached itself and come back to my property. Nothing negative, nothing really bad's been happening, just front door, not the letterbox on my front door flaps, to the point where my little 6-year-old will say, "Daddy, someone's at the door," and she'll run. There's obviously no one there, living in a cul-de-sac as well, so it's not like a main road where someone can walk past and play the old knock and run as we did as kids. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have taken place that we have to question, but of course. You'll always have two sides of the story, won't you?
Well, I was just going to say then, because like I'm into the history of areas and I know Whiston quite well, and it's a very historical place, Whiston, and I don't know whereabouts you are in Whiston, but you've had all the coal mines there, and if you think about where you live, what history would that could be from the past, from the history, what your houses were built on.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly fair, Jamie, I'm more swaying to the point that it's something that's been here for some time now. As I say, my little girl's 6 years old now. When she was 3, on a regular basis, we would think it was almost like she was having night terrors when we'd put her to bed, and she'd be screaming, and we'd go to the bedroom and check on her, and she'd say, the man's there, and she'd point at like an area, and it was always the same area in the bedroom. And then we moved her into our spare room because it was a bit bigger as she was growing up. And nothing really has happened since we moved her out of that room. But yeah, I mean, the house that we live in, it's a relatively new build house. I'd probably say that the house is, the estate that I live on, it's probably only about 10 years old.
Oh, right.
But I've never really looked into the history of exactly where we are based. It'd be quite interesting to look and see what was here prior to this sort of new build housing estate being constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would, and even in the history of the house itself. And have you been in the house since it was built?
No, we moved in about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago we moved in, and there was one previous owner before ourselves.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing, especially with the line of work that I do. I would say anybody that doesn't really experience the paranormal would just hear knocks and bangs and not think anything of it. But I think when you're in this sort of line of work, everybody gets used to the normal sounds in their house, but when you hear something that's not a normal sound, when you're sat there with no TV on in your living room and you hear the door, the letterbox on your door flap, there's no wind outside. My letterbox has got a very stiff spring on it, so it's not a very loose one, which the slightest bit of wind would flap it. You literally have to pull it back and make it flap. It's not something that it will do in light wind, and there's too much that happens to be just saying, oh yeah, it's just normal sound. There's definitely something, but I don't think it's anything nasty. I just think it's saying hello.
Well, it's a good experience. Dave, going back to your group, when you do an investigation, when you go on location, what kind of things do you do in the investigation? I know you mentioned before that you use gadgets and things like that. What kind of things do you do? Do you have all these gadgets, or do you go by your own senses, if you understand what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, with Jeff and Mandy, they're should we call them old school? They are old school. They tend to sit back and assess the place on their feelings. One thing that we never tend to do is look at the history of a place until we've been to it the first time.
No.
We don't want to be misled into what we're experiencing or have our outlook predetermined by things that have been put down in history. So we try to go in there blind. Jeff and Mandy, with their experience, they sort of sit back and have a little notepad. They jot names down. As I say, Jeff likes to draw pictures of what comes into his mind. We have gadgets. We're not driven by the technology. We don't get all these gadgets and technology bits, lay them all out and say, right, give us a show. I think it's based on the feeling that we get. We tend to do quite a lot of natural seances, just sitting there and asking out, introducing ourselves, asking for taps in response to questions. We'll then maybe get a bit of equipment out and say, look, this is a little flashing ball. Can you try and make that light up? Or, we have dolls. Sometimes we go to places where it's an old school, so children may be present. We have the gadgets. The gadgets have been great, but on the flip side, the old school things have been great as well. Mm-hmm. Automatic drawing, Jeff. We do mirror scrying in the mirror. The human pendulum. I don't know if you're aware of that. We've done that. We've done that in the past. Dowsing rods. Yeah. And again, just glass movement. When we used to do the public events, we would offer the Ouija board to do that. Personally, it's not something that I ever get involved in. That's for my own personal reasons. It's not something that I like to dabble in. A lot of people may have a different view of it and may think that it's great. Yeah, well, I'm not a massive fan of it. I'll be honest with you, Jamie. I've had plenty of stories and people tell me about things, and I've heard about things that I think I'd rather just leave the Ouija board myself, to be honest with you. But again, others have had great results with it and continue to work with it. It's a personal preference, and I'd never tell people not to go on it. I think it's your own personal choice, really.
Yeah, I'm the same as you on that one. Of all the gadgets you've got, what's your favourite, your own personal favourite gadget, what you use?
Well, I have a very sensitive audio recorder device. It's a Zoom recorder device that I have.
Yeah, good.
Really good, crisp audio recorder. And it picks things up that we can't hear on the events. The beauty of it is that the particular model of recorder that I've got is it's got 4 separate inputs, microphone inputs. So what we tend to do is we run 4 separate microphones off the audio recorder and then run them microphones to separate areas of the building. And they will record individually on their own files. So there's nothing more frustrating than being in one part of the room and having your recorder with you where you are, and you hear a noise in a different part of the room and thinking, I wish I'd have had my recorder in that part of the room. Well, with this recorder that I've got, we can put a microphone in the cellar, we can put it in the kitchen area, or another one in the living room area, and we can pick up things that we've heard in different areas and then look at that particular file and the recording. The place in Liverpool that I was telling you about earlier, we went there last Saturday. We were doing a bit of a seance in the room, and one of the guys did a whistle and asked if they could reply to the whistle. And we heard at the time we heard a noise, and everyone was like, "Oh, did you hear something then?" And it was only the day after, when I was reviewing my audio, which really proved how clear the audio recorder is. And we got a perfect response to the tone of the whistle that Mike in the team, he whistled in a certain way, and we got a response back which it either sounded like a lady or a young child that hummed the same tone of the whistle back to us. Yeah. And we wouldn't have got it as clear if I'd not used that particular piece of equipment. I know you can get these £20-30 little handheld digital recorders, which are great if you're recording something where you're sat. But I'd certainly recommend, if there's any enthusiasts out there or anybody else who's got their own team who are wanting to invest and try and get new equipment, if you just search for a Zoom audio recorder, there's different versions. anything by Zoom. They're really good recorders, and I would highly recommend getting one.
Yeah, I've got one of them myself, and I think James has got one as well. They're really good
brilliant.
quality. There are, like you said, there are other other makes out there which are, they're good. And the good advice there is, start off if you can't afford the Zoom, there are good ones out there, and then you can work your way up, as you go along. That's what we've done.
Definitely, they do different levels of them. Yeah, they have an entry level, and then you can go. Depending on how deep your pockets are, you can get the top of the range one.
Yeah. And what is the most frightening thing that's happened to you? I've got to ask you that, Dave.
The most frightening thing that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Whittington Castle. I did an investigation there with the company that I used to work for, doing public events. And I had a team of, there was 6 or 7 of us, and I was sort of leading my team to a certain area of the building. And there was a corridor which was, I would say, about 15 foot long, but at the end of the corridor it was just a dead wall, really, so you could walk to the end and walk back. Now, what I suggested was that a few of us would line up in the corridor. I think it was a guest that turned around and said that they got a bit of a feeling down that corridor, so me sort of stepping forward as the member of the team. Oh, I tell you what, should we line up and stand here, in distance apart, and we'll ask out and see if we can get any response. Well, I stood right at the end, and we were asking out, and I felt literally right behind me, behind my shoulder, I could sense that there was something. When you get that feeling and you think there's something watching me, or there's something right behind me, and I turned around to the guest and I said, I don't want to alarm you, but I think there's something stood behind me. And I asked out then, I said, if you're stood behind me, can you let me know? Can you give me a sign? And as I asked the question, I felt the floorboard under my right foot creak, and that was enough for me. that was enough for me, because that was validation to the question I was asking. It's probably the one and only time that, I don't know why, I freaked out a little bit, but then I had to try and contain myself and keep my professional outlook to it, shall we say. But that, I would say that's probably either that, or we went to Shrewsbury Prison as well, and very similar. We weren't getting much in the way of activity at the time, me and the guests that I had, so I come up with the idea of what we'll do is we'll go up to the top where the cell doors are. I think there was 9 of us. I said, there's 9 of us. We'll all stand, one of us in front of each of the cells with our back to the cells. I said, and we'll turn our torches off, and said we'll just call out and ask for some form of sign to let us know that you're there. And that was very interesting. We had cell doors slamming. One of the guests walked right to the end where we'd heard the door slamming from, and he went down and there was a door completely shut. Now, one of the things that we do certainly with prisons when we go, is we make sure that all the doors are open and they don't shut by themselves. They're not on a spring mechanism or anything like that. And where we'd heard the sound from, the guest had walked right to the end. And the door was completely shut, which we tested before we'd tried anything. So yeah, that was pretty scary. I like to try and keep level-headed, but no, most of it is just interest, Jamie. I'll be honest with you. It's the love of it, and trying to discover the unknown, shall we say, and trying to understand it.
And Dave, before we go. Have you got any advice for anyone who wants to go on paranormal investigations? I know that you're a private group, and and also if anybody can watch you, if you've got a YouTube channel, if you've got a website, can you give us that bit of information, please?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the first bit of advice that I would say is, if you've never experienced anything like it, I would just say give it a try. Do your research, try it. I mean, there's tons of paranormal companies out there all over the UK. Have a look at the different ones. See if you can have a look at reviews that previous people have put on there. And I would go for it. I mean, look, a lot of people come to me and say, I've never done anything like that. I'm too scared to do it. And until you try it, you can't experience it. A lot of people are misled by what they see on the TV. And I think it's a shame because without down talking the TV programs, people need to understand you're only seeing what those TV programs want you to see. Until you go and experience it for yourself, you can't fully understand what it's like. It's something you've never done before, and if you never do it again, at least you can turn around and say, "Do you know what, I'll give it a try." That was what it was like for me initially back many years ago. I've always been interested in the paranormal, even from when I was a kid. And then I come across, a place in York that did ghost walks and ghost tours, and I ended up going, and that was it. I was hooked. So I would say if you've ever had a slight inclination about, I wonder what that's like, give it a go. What have you got to lose? Substitute going out on a night out on a Friday night or a Saturday night and just giving it a go. Even if you don't believe and you're a skeptic, just go for the experience. See what you think, and I guarantee you that if you go to a place that's active, your head will be turned, and maybe you'll go on another event. There's nothing to lose. Give it a go. See what you think. As I say, we're a team only group now, but there's plenty of groups out there that do public events. And the other thing that I would say is shop around, like you do with car insurance or buying a car. Shop around, because you might see one location and then find another company that are doing it at a better price. Mm-hmm. So don't just go for the first one that you see. Have a shop around, see what you can find, look at the reviews, and hopefully that'll help you. And ask other people as well. Ask other people if they've ever been. That's the best thing. Word of mouth goes a long way. As for our group, as I say, we're quite relatively new. We are currently working on getting our own YouTube channel set up. We have got a page on Facebook, but at the moment we've only got it set to team only. You can find us if you search Shadow Walkers Paranormal Investigation Team. You will find us, and you can like our page. It's something that we're working on for next year, where we're going to be posting live videos of venues that we're at. We're going to be posting pictures and videos of findings and sharing experiences. With us being a team only, it's a touchy subject, because a lot of companies out there who do public events, that's a way of them trying to gather more clientele. Whereas for us, because we're a team-only event, we can just share our experiences. So it just depends what people are looking for. But yeah, one thing that we do offer, Jamie, I don't know if you can advise your listeners about this, is we don't just go to commercial areas and investigate ourselves. We do offer our services for anybody that may have a haunted house. They may be experiencing things that are happening and they want the house cleansing. Anything like that, we certainly offer. There's no charge involved. We'll go around, we'll investigate their house or their building or anything, and we'll try our best to understand what it is that they've got in the building and try and move it on. And that's something else that we do as a group.
Dave, that's brilliant. Dave, thanks so much for coming onto the show tonight, and that was a really interesting interview with you there. Loved everything you said there. Thank you very much again.
You're more than welcome, mate. Thanks for having me on the show.
That was Dave from Shadow Walkers there, and James, what did you think?
Really, really interesting. Yeah, I was just sitting back listening to that interview, and I think we always say this, don't we? I've absolutely loved over the last 5 weeks or so talking to different paranormal investigators, finding out about how they investigate locations, what they do, their approaches, and I love the fact that all the teams we've spoken to, they've all got very much like our team, Ghost Quest. They've all got people with different opinions, people who, you know, have different reasons for getting involved in the paranormal, haven't they?
They have, and what's unusual though is I like the advice at the end, you know, and they always say, what kind of advice can you give us?
Yeah.
And virtually every single one of them say the same, you know. But it's nice that advice is out there for newcomers into the investigations. But I also like, you know, I like asking them the most scariest part of it as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because everyone seems to have the scariest thing for everyone. It's not like when something goes bang. It's almost when something happens that they only realise about after, isn't it?
Yeah, and that happens quite, you know, regular. I mean, we've done it ourselves, you know, with EVPs.
Yeah.
And it's good, you know, when you sit back and you go, whoa, didn't hear that. You know, and you listen to it a number of times as well.
Well, I think it's quite exciting when you've been out doing an investigation and you spend the time afterwards listening back through everything to see if you can hear anything, you know.
Well, that's like the what's the word? The extension of that investigation.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean, you know, you've been out, you've been in the field, you've done everything, and you come back, you're relaxed, and now you can listen to it all over again. And you're back there, but you're listening for things that you didn't hear when you were out there.
And a really important part of it as well, isn't it? Just to spend that time to review. The other thing I thought was really interesting, what Dave said actually, and it's something that I think is really important, and I know you do, is not reading into locations before you go.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, I love going into places and not knowing nothing about it. And, you know, if you don't find anything, fine. But when you find that little gold nugget that's out there, and it confirms that there's something there, you know. And I don't look on the internet. I don't go researching anything or anything like that when I go on an investigation.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned earlier in the show, a couple of weeks ago, I gave Jamie a paranormal challenge. He managed to shirk out of it for a couple of weeks for making various excuses. But he did undertake his paranormal challenge this week, and he went out with Marie and also some special friends. So here we are with the very first of Jamie's paranormal challenge. Have a listen to this.
Well, here we are in the location James sent us to. There's me and you, Marie.
Yes, we're here tonight together in this location, a brilliant location, which we're going to keep hush-hush for now.
Well, we have to for respect, haven't we, as well?
For respect.
But we've also got two guests with us, strangely enough. We were sitting in the house and I get a text off someone and they said they were in the area, so I said, oh, why don't you come down with us? So with us tonight we've got Shell Louise and Mr Shell from Axiom Paranormal, because you didn't know you were coming tonight, did you, until the last minute?
No idea. I was really not dressed for this location.
No. What about you, Mr Shell?
No, I had no idea at all, no.
You both thought you were going to be sitting in the house watching the television, feet up, with a chippy tea or something like
Packing
that.
Pringles, cheese strings, and then I get the text message.
You did say cheese strings then, didn't you?
I said cheese strings.
So, you've been here for what? We've been here, 5 minutes, 10 minutes now, and what do you think of it so far?
Beautiful.
To be honest,
Serene, beautiful.
I didn't know this place was so close to home, to be fair.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
so
nice, isn't it?
And peaceful. I mean, we can't say where we are, obviously, for the respect for the, for the people buried here, and we can also, for the families who are still around, we've got to be really respectful to them as well. So we've been here, like I just said, Shell, that we've been here for what 10 minutes, and you picked up names already?
Yep. Saw by somebody, I mentioned to Marie, take a temperature check. I've just seen somebody. I actually saw a figure, and I said, just do me a favour, point it there. And go on, Marie, and tell them what happened.
So we pointed it in two separate directions that Shell wanted me to show, and we got a 2 degrees difference, and was only about 4 foot apart from the two destinations that we did the thermal imager.
I've got the name as well. We're joined by a male with the name Rupert.
Okay, we can't give surnames out tonight, obviously, because of where we are.
Respect.
But if you do get some surnames, you can tell me afterwards, and we can try and research it. And obviously, if we get any voices on this, in the EVPs, because we are recording, so if we get any kind of voices, we can listen back to it, and we'll highlight it if anything appears.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, should we do a call out, or do you want to call out, Shell, as you're the guest?
Call out, I'm listening.
I'm going to ask if there's anybody here with us now, anyone where we are, standing round us, looking at us. Please come forward. We're not here to harm you. I say it all the time. We're not here even to disrespect you. I'd like to know who you are. Could you tell us your name? Can you come towards us?
Did you hear that? Like walking. See?
Can you talk to us? Can you make yourself known? So we've got a few things anyway that can give us some evidence. We've also got the recordings, what we're doing now, which could pick us up.
ITC if you like.
Some what?
ITC.
Okay, can you tell the listeners what an ITC is?
Instrumental Transcommunication Device, where we've had one designed for our team, which I have with me. And what it is, it's 12 word banks that are randomly run backwards in reverb, and they're played at different settings as well, so different pace settings, so they all overlay, so Spirit can manipulate them and send them forward as a complete word, or maybe hopefully a sentence.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, so yeah, we'll give that a go.
Starting whenever you're ready.
Right, so Shell's just put it on now, so what we're going to do is have a little listen if we can. Could you tell us your name? How many of you are with us now?
Five, that was clear.
I had 5 then, yeah.
Well, you're all welcome.
I'm going to ask again, did you say there was 5?
More.
You hear that then? I was trying to pick up what it was saying. Oh.
I'm going to ask again, could you tell us how many there are?
5.
5 again.
Again.
Yeah.
We're getting lots of noises around us. Have you got a name for us?
David Miller. Sorry, no surnames.
Well, that's what everybody said. Something no show.
Yeah,
Is there someone you want to talk to? Can you give us a name?
Oh my God, did you hear that? Them broken down.
Oh, right.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to get used to the way it is.
I'm going to ask if there's somebody here with us now. Come closer and tell us your name, please. Fear.
No. Did he say no fear?
No fear.
Yeah, you don't have to be afraid of us. Come forward. How old are you? 'Can you tell us where we are? Do you know where we are? Did you hear that? Cemetery.
Cemetery. I heard that. That was cool.
How mad was that?
That's intelligent.
Can you tell us how many of us there is?
Sounded like a laugh.
So while that's playing in the background, Marie, what did you think of that then?
It seemed like we was getting answers to our questions, but it was hard for me because I've heard this the first time, to hear the words at first. You have to just get used to it, and because there's a lot of background noise with it.
Shell, are you picking up anything at all now?
Yeah, 2 males.
2 males
Right, right here where it is now, that's 30. It's gone from 13, drops straight down to 11, 13.4, and that's 11.3.
2 males stood right near us. 2
Whereabouts?
males.
And we'll point the
So we
heat
seem
sensor
to
next
in
to
this area here.
Before, I thought I saw something. I can't. You see this tall piece here?
Yeah.
There, move pretty quickly. But I thought, you know, is it these breathers, as I call them, that are walking around us? So there was something over this area, and then I felt something towards the back of here, like an observer. No, I don't feel any threat. I just feel like we're quite
calm.
Curious. Is the
Yeah,
word I
from
wanna
that
use.
gravestone to that one, it was a 2
degree drop again.
Yeah.
drop. Yeah.
Can you show yourself?
See, we're on 13 again there.
Has it gone up again?
Yeah, 13
There you
here.
go. That's where I was saying.
Right
we've seen
here.
Movement here.
Right.
Can you show yourself to me? If it's you that I've seen from the shadows, don't be afraid. I am a follower of the old ways. Come towards me.
That's gone from 11.2 to 13 right near you.
That's good.
So it's as if it's moved.
It's travelling.
Yeah.
Please don't be afraid.
But as you can see, Shell, it's a really, where we are is, it's like a couple of 100 years old, isn't it?
I do feel as men of cloth. I know that, you know, obvious, but their energy, their presence would be so strong here. Il nomine e passe e spiritii sancti.
Keep a check on the temperature as we do it.
Okay.
Il nomine e passe e spiritii sancti. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, come forward.
Some degree on 13.6, 13.8, 14.
It's changing, there you go.
Yeah.
It's working.
And that's simply because I felt the chill across me.
It's
arms
working.
and back.
What I'll do is I'll go in there. I've got this with me, so I'll talk anyway. I'm just going into a little section on my own, but don't go far away, you three. I'm only brave when there's a few of you next to me. Okay, I'm in the building. Feels quite calm. Shell, Mr Shell, and Marie about 20-30 foot away from me. I feel very calm. I think they're picking up on something now. Shell's done a bit of a chant. So we're just waiting for something to happen.
Janie, I think there's somebody around you because it's going up to 15, 14.
Right next to me?
Yeah, where my thermal imager is.
Can you put the imager towards me and see if there's anything next to me? I know you'll see me.
Yeah.
Is there anything next to me?
Yeah. You've gone up to 17 and 18.
Yeah.
And then on the wall that was 11, it's actually 14.9 and keeps it hitting 15. So and that was 11.2 when I first did it.
So I was just checking to see if there's nobody with the light over there, because on the wall here, I've just seen a small light go across as if it was going that way, yeah.
Right.
So I'll ask out anyway while I'm standing here.
Okay.
Okay, if there's somebody here with me now, I'm standing here on my own, you can come towards me, come and talk to me. Don't be afraid of us. Let us know you're around. Can you tell me your name, please? Could you tell us what year it is? Can you talk to us? And just so you know, Marie's disappeared off on her own in another part of the graveyard. Braver than me, I'll tell you. So it's just me and you now, Shell.
Try this. Say this.
I can't say that. Dominisk. Patrice.
Patri means come forward, Father.
Dominique.
Dominusco.
I'm just learning some Latin now while we're on here.
Dominusco Patri.
Dominuscu Patri.
Means come
Please come
Father.
forward, Father. I know Marie's in the distance, I can hear her talking, so she must be calling out, so we'll find out if she gets anything. So, Simon, you've been having a walk around, have you felt anything around?
Well, to be honest, when we stood here, I thought I seen something over there. See that?
Where Marie is?
Well, no, to what, further this way to the right. Well, to the right.
Yeah, got you.
I thought I seen something like something dark whisk past, but
Yeah.
that's it really. Dunno.
Yeah, there's only me and you now. Shell's gone on the wander. So, should we call out? Should I give it a call out here while we're here on our own? If there's anybody here with us now, can you come forward? Come and talk to us. Let us know you're around. What's amazing about where we are, just to give a little bit of a description, is it's a ruin, as we've said before, but within the ruin there's inscriptions on the wall, really old inscriptions like initials, dates. There's like if you look there, there's a CJ. Yeah. They look like they've been there for a long time. School mistress. And that's dated 1760. Can't give the name out, but 1760. So
we've got a school mistress here. We're just trying to read some of the other information that's inscribed.
Shell's talking in the distance, so I think she's just doing a bit of a call out, so we'll go over to her in a minute.
We've got lovely arch windows. It must have looked absolutely amazing in its time. Yeah. But if we go over to Shell Louise and see if they found anything, heard anything.
At the moment it's quite calm. We have picked up on a few things. Oh, let's just go and find out what's going on here.
Have you heard anything? Seen anything?
I've got the message 3 gold rings, and there's 2 brothers together.
Right.
3 gold rings, 2 brothers together.
It's quite cryptic, that really, isn't it?
Very cryptic. And I can't find them. I'm trying to find them. But 3 gold rings, 2 brothers together. There was movement. Did you see that?
Can I just say something? Before you said there was movement there, I seen a light here and it's shot that way.
Yes, let's go.
So it's forward. Oh, yep. Shell's done one of her runners. I'm not running. Oh, great. No light. Could it be an inscription, could it?
It was a bit hard to...
It's difficult.
To try and find though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many as well.
Yep.
But where do you reckon it is? What area would you say? Do you know that?
I'm just going with what Shell does. Plus, just so you know, they've got the torches. I haven't brought a torch with me.
You'd have to follow us.
So, if all of a sudden you hear a bang and a wallop, it's my head.
Okay, we're doing a search for the name on the names of a stone.
2 brothers.
Have you got it?
No. One I'm going to go 3 years old. The younger one's 3 years old. The 2 brothers.
Just in case you can't hear her, Shell's saying that she's looking for a 3-year-old, and the 2 brothers, one of them is a 3-year-old. Just be careful. Yeah, all I can say is I'm following Shell Louise. She's just reading some of the inscriptions and things like that. She's picked up on two brothers and 3 rings. Not a clue what it means, but hopefully we have. What have you found?
What's this? Is that 3 years? Aged 3 years and 8 months. Bingo.
Have you got it?
We found.
Bingo.
Oh my God.
Bingo. There you are.
Okay. I'm going to have a look because we can't obviously give names out, but Shell picked on this. Now, I've not been to this side at all. 2 of them. No, we can't give names out. Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah, 2 brothers and one's 3 years old. Oh my word.
Got them. I know.
Oh my word.
The 3 rings. Why did you tell me about the 3 rings, guys? Come on.
3 rings.
What's the 3 rings? What's the 3 rings? Why would you tell me 3 rings?
Don't read the inscription out. Have a read of the inscription because that might tell you something.
We are doing.
Anything on it?
Because there's a sister in there. These 3.
3 of them.
These 3 of them. 2 brothers, 3 rings, age 3. Bingo.
Well,
So that's that.
that is unbelievable. Have you got the picture of that? Yeah.
Yep. Brilliant.
Wow.
I've actually got.
So, just so you know, it was.
What was fantastic, sorry, Jay?
Sorry, go on. I'm going to
Do you
bring
know
the.
what I think was fantastic? The fact that we followed the light anomaly to this area.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was saying 2 brothers, 3 rings,
Yes.
it guided us here, and we saw movement before, and you wandered over here before
I
as
did,
well.
yes.
Exactly the same place.
Well, Jamie, that was so interesting. And obviously, you know, part of your paranormal challenges is that you're supposed to go on your own, but you didn't. I'm a little bit jealous that I wasn't there. But that sounded absolutely fantastic. There's loads more to come. So, Jamie, tell me about the ring of 3, was it, that Shell Louise said?
Yeah.
So what happened with that?
Well, what happened was is we were standing around.
Yeah.
And we were calling out. Marie went off on a wander because Marie likes to do them little wanders on her own sometimes.
Yeah.
And she went to the far side of the cemetery.
Yeah.
And I'd never really been over that side before.
Yeah.
So, you know, we let her go. And there was me, Shell Louise, and it's Simon.
Mr. Shell.
Mr. Shell. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult to
I know,
remember.
yeah.
But what happened was is we were standing there and we were, you know, looking around and everything else. And at the same time, me and Shell Louise actually saw a light go, but it was going towards where Marie was.
Yeah.
Marie had moved back by then, you know, coming back around by then. And it was going to the same place.
Yeah.
And Mr. Shell actually saw something at the same time, and he was trying to explain it. And it was all pointing into the same direction.
Yeah.
And what happened then is Shell was starting to pick up these things about 3 rings.
Yeah.
And, you know, a child of 3.
Yeah.
3 or whatever it was. And they started walking over there, and I was trying to catch up with them, but she was going to this direction. And when Shell's on a mission, she goes. So we were trying to keep up with them. Anyway, we caught up with her in the end, and she was talking about things like that. And the gravestone we looked at had 2 names on it, which were brothers.
Yeah.
And then she was saying, but what's the ring of 3? What's the ring? There's the ring. There's the 2, which I was picking up on, and the child. And she did say beforehand, a 3-year-old. And this grave had actually said 3-year-old on it. Wow. And she was trying to work out the ring of 3 until we pointed to her that there was a 3rd person in it, but it was a female.
Right.
And she went, that's it. That's
the ring of 3.
And I mean, to me, that was really good confirmation, because there was there was no way you could all point to one direction and Marie go round and we all go towards and actually stand there. And when we stood there, we didn't just look straight at the grave. We were looking round first.
Well, the other thing as well is that Shell hasn't been there before. I mean, Shell's, you know, where Shell is from is nowhere near that location as well. Literally nowhere near it, is it? No, it just happened to be that she was nearby the area where you were as well, which is just a stroke of fate, really, isn't it?
Yeah, she threw a text and we invited her along, and she came along, and she actually said to us as we were going into the place, is, why didn't you tell me this was here? I've never been. I've been down here, you know, to my partners, and she said, I didn't even know this was here. You know, and for us to get in there and get that kind of confirmation straight away was brilliant.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. So we have got a little bit more from the invest coming up, and also there's so much recordings from that investigation, which is fantastic, that we're probably, I would imagine, going to have someone next week's show as well, aren't we? Because we really want to make sure there's some really great stuff, and what we don't want to do is for you guys to miss out. Now, Jamie, you've also been doing another interview this week, haven't you?
I did. I went along to a location, which I'm sure people are going to know when you see the interview, and it was with IHaunt.
Oh, great, fantastic!
And it was a really good night, and I got along there, and Chris, do you know what? I can't think of his name.
Oh, well done.
Chris Bowyer.
Chris Bowyer.
Sorry, Chris, if you're listening. It's just that many things have happened today. So, yeah, Chris Bowyer from IHaunt, and a couple of his guests who were there as well. We got them along to ask about what they felt was going to happen on the night, you know.
Yeah, oh, great stuff. Well, shall we have a listen?
Yeah, please.
Okay, we're now at Mill Street Barracks, and we're here with IHaunt. We've got Chris from IHaunt, we've got Sarah, and we've got Graham, who are on the ghost hunt. So, Sarah, what are you expecting from tonight? Because you've never been here before.
I'm really excited to be here, and apparently there's a ghost that likes to pin ladies up against the wall. Well, I'm game for that. And this is my first ghost hunt in a very long time, so I'm just really excited to get stuck in, and I do believe that the best tool is yourself. So
yeah,
can't wait to get stuck in.
Sorry, and Graham, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I've not picked up on anything as yet, but the night's early as yet, so once it gets a bit more towards 12 o'clock, hopefully the spirits will come out and play.
And you're expected to be pinned up against the wall as well?
I don't mind anything, mate.
So you've never been here before, and you've had a little bit of a tour. I've taken you around, shown you around. How do you feel about the building? Have you picked up anything, or is there any part of the building that you're looking forward to tonight?
In the cellar, I got a pinching headache downstairs in the cellar, and in the far room, as I was walking out of there, it just sounded like somebody had walked, but from the back end of the room where there's like a chair and some bricks missing at the top. So I had to look back, but obviously there was nothing there.
So you're looking forward to the actual cellar part. A lot of people love the cellar. The room we're in now, where we're talking, and we're doing the interview with, this is one of my favourite rooms as well. And you know, if you come up here later on, I'm looking forward to see how your reactions are to this room. So Graham, what about yourself? Anywhere in the building, or just the cellar like Sarah?
Looking forward to the staircase, the one that's carpeted down the centre. Didn't really pick up on anything, but nothing really harmful about, so just looking forward to it.
Fantastic. And Chris from IHaunt.
Hello.
You've been here loads of times. So what are you expecting from tonight? And I know it's been locked down. We've all been in lockdown. None of us have had a ghost hunt for a long time.
I'm hoping the spirits are going to be a bit bored and they're going to come out and play, because they've not had anybody in here for a while. That's my ambition and hope that will happen. I'll come back to this place because every time that we've been, something has happened. Whether it be in the cellar, whether it be in this classroom, whether it be on the stairs. And to me, it's got a vibe that you just want to keep coming back to it. I don't know what it is. It's got like a draw to it that you want to keep going back and go, why did that happen? I want to see it happen again. And you want to come back and see if it will happen again. It's a really nice place. And it's the staff here are great as well. They always look after us. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to tonight.
I'll pay you for that nice compliment.
Yeah, you will.
I know you're going to go in a second to go on your ghost hunt and everything else. Have you had experiences before that, you can tell us a little bit about before you disappear down into the dungeons of Mill Street Barracks? Sarah? Yeah.
I've had experiences at a property that I was working at. I've heard babies crying. This is in a massive hotel throughout lockdown, so obviously nobody else was there apart from me and my co-worker. One of the glass washers turned on all by itself at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that was after a massive loud bang that we thought one of the roofs have caved in, because all the rain that we had during lockdown, a particular time, one of the roofs did cave in, so we thought another one had come down, but on checking it and doing a check around outside, nothing was there, and that's when we got back into the hotel and this glass washer turned itself back on. I've had personal experiences at home as well, where I've physically seen things myself, and
And I also had a car accident once where I don't know how I managed to do it, but my car landed perfectly in a grass verge. I managed to get out of my car, and just by chance there was an ambulance driving past, and apparently my hazard light was put on before I passed out. How that happened, I haven't got a clue.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? You hear that so many times as well, and that people have said that something interferes with it really, and protects you in that way. So Graham, yourself, have you had any experiences?
I've been to a fair few locations around UK, North Wales, South Wales, mainly EVPs, things coming through on spirit boxes and things. Everything just interests me about it, just trying to debunk things, shadows, pictures. So, yeah.
Are you both believers, or just sit on the fence and try and debunk everything?
I try and debunk everything, just try and rule it out.
But you believe?
I believe, yeah.
110% believe, but I only believe it because I've seen it.
Yeah.
If I've not seen it myself, I don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you two go, because I do appreciate you coming up and doing this quick interview. So I'm going to let you two go back to your paranormal investigations, and I hope you have a great night. I'm here all night with you, so if you've got any questions that you want me to answer, I'll try my best for you. Thank you for coming up. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
So I'm going to pinch Chris now and have a little chat with Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Chris, Sarah and Graham. I nearly called it Chris then because I'm not very good with names. So Chris, now you're on your own, and I appreciate Sarah and Graham coming up there. Tell us a little bit about IHaunt itself.
Okay, IHaunt was set up. I never planned on setting up a ghost hunting company, but it was set up because I'd been on a couple of other ghost hunts with various other companies, and to me it was one of those things, is if there is a paranormal, why do we need to fake it? And because I have a background of magic, because I build props for magicians and stuff like that, so I know how to fake things and why and how, and I can see things being faked. So on these ghost hunts that I actually went on, there was an element of fakery going on, and I didn't understand why, if there was a paranormal. And IHaunt was born. IHaunt was born out of the determination to find if there is a paranormal or not, and give customers what they want, which is basically to go out and find a ghost hunt. And I didn't want it to be as uniform as some of these other ghost hunting companies. I wanted it to be a bit more free and loose to do what these customers wanted to do, or how I would want to ghost hunt, basically. So that's why IHaunt was born, really, was to get rid of the fakery, but also give the customers the opportunity to basically do what they wanted on an event.
But that's where you're talking about the fakery. That's because you've experienced it yourself. I mean, there's a lot of groups out there which we've got to say are phenomenal
totally
groups,
agree.
really nice groups.
In fact, to be fair, my first time at Mill Street Barracks was a private party, believe it or not. We had it for a family member's birthday through a ghost hunting company, and they were fantastic. They were great. There was no fakery going on or anything like that. And I would recommend them if IHaunt wasn't going and somebody said, can you recommend a ghost hunting company? I would recommend that one that brought us here as a private party, because I mean, they looked after us really well, and they were down to earth, and they were lovely people.
Yeah, most of the ghost groups are really good people, and it's nice to see so many out there, you know, and it's nice to interact with a lot of them. Which places have you been to? I mean, obviously you've been here. Where other places have you been to, and what's your favourite place?
As IHaunt, we've done. We're basically based around the northwest, but obviously with COVID-19, we're just trying to escape a bit further if we can. But we've done like Lancaster Grand Theatre, which we've had some amazing results from and amazing experiences at. We've done Weir Mill, again. Sort of scared myself there a bit. I thought someone was chasing me. I don't know whether they were, but I saw this figure in an area, and then I turned to find my team. My team wasn't there. I legged it, and as I legged it, I heard somebody chasing me, and I'm like, who's chasing me? I just legged it. What else have we done? We've done Todmorden Unitarian Church. Probably the only church you can take a Ouija board in and do a Ouija board in and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's quite fun. We had some interesting experiences there. They've also got a cemetery at the back that you can go and have a wander around and stuff like that. We did a site visit of Newsham Park. We've not actually done an event there yet because
that's in Liverpool, isn't it?
That's in Liverpool, but again, we've had some great experiences there. Even during the day, during a site visit, I was blown away with what was going on. Like little things, like doors opening on their own and stuff like that. It's just so bizarre, and it is the ultimate ghost hunting venue. Let's be honest. That's type of building, old orphanage, old asylum. So we are trying as a ghost hunting events company to get a couple of dates, but it's difficult at the moment.
Tell us a little bit about your team. I don't know how many members have you got?
Normally there's about 5 usually, but it depends how many guests we have on an event. One thing that IHaunt do try and do is keep an event small if we can, so that it's a bit more intimate and it's not overcrowded. Don't like overcrowded ghost hunts. So there's myself. Now I've liked ghost hunting for years, since I was in high school, so that's some time ago. Then there's my fiancée Jodie, who doesn't like ghost hunting.
Really?
Yeah, no. if there's any one person who doesn't like ghost hunting, it'd be Jodie. But she does like Mill Street because, like I say, things have happened here where she's always like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And it's stuff that we know should be happening. Well, not should be happening, but people have reported before. So it's quite interesting to see it when it's happening to us as a group. She's quite sceptical, and she does get a little bit scared, I would say. It depends on what venue we're going to, I suppose. And if I mention something at home, like, oh, what was that? And then she'll get creeped out if she overthinks it. And then there's Stephen. Now, Stephen's 100% sceptical. He believes there isn't a paranormal, but we wrote him in because he's a good photographer, believe it or not. But again, we're all family. Then there's Becky, which is my fiance's sister. She normally joins us occasionally. Again, family member. She does get a bit freaked out at some of the venues, which is quite amusing to see. I do like freaking people out sometimes. Like, oh, did you hear that?
Are you one of these ones who make them frightened sometimes?
No. If anything happens, I'll be the first one out. It'd be like, follow me, I'm going.
I hear that from other teams when they say, yeah, we do all these ghost hunts, but if anything happens, I'm the first one out.
Definitely. I'm always the first one. See you later. And then the final person is Emma, which is my fiance's friend who she's worked with, and she's really nice, and she just loves the buzz of a ghost hunt because it is an adrenaline rush. I mean, once you've got yourself all pumped up and then you arrive at a venue and you go, oh right, is it going to be haunted, is anything going to happen, or is it going to get possessed, am I going to be taken over, is something going to go bang, is something going to light up, you got yourself all built up. Then you come in here, we try and make you a bit more relaxed because obviously once you're all hyped up like that, any noise is a ghost. I remember one time we came here, Mill Street, and all the guests were pretty much brand new to IHaunt. They'd never been on a ghost hunt before. They were all like ghost hunt virgins, and it was the night that we had the most activity. And I said to the team when we left, I said, if that was your first ever ghost hunt, you'd be well pleased with what we managed to achieve. And I'm pretty sure they went away like beaming, like that was amazing because we had so much activity that night. We had like cat balls lighting up on command when we called for Bruce. We had these light up panels lighting up and everything like that. Everything was on cue. You called out to Bruce, he came, he did his thing. It was great. It was a really good day.
Brilliant. So, all the venues you've been to, is there a venue that you would love to go to that you've not been, you've not had that chance to go to yet?
Oh, there's loads of venues I'd love to go to. I mean, there was an article in the paper the other day about some war bunkers in Liverpool that they've knocked one down because they only need to knock one down, but they're keeping the other 9. And I'm like,
I know where that is.
Yeah, do you know where that
Kirby.
is? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to email the council to get them on the books, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure all the same ghost hunting companies. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to go to Drake Low Tunnels at some point. Love that. Any old church. In fact, I'd love to go to a church that's still working, still being used as a normal church. But it's just getting it past the vicar. I do know a vicar who doesn't see a problem with ghost hunting in churches, but he's not a working vicar anymore. But he was, and he was going to have a word with other vicars. But some of the to me and probably to customers as well, a venue that's like so taboo, like an old hospital or an asylum, or even a church. To me, Todd Morden's been like one of the best places we've ever been to for customer footfall, because it's a church. Who goes in a church and does a Ouija board? You don't get a chance to normally, and we love it.
It's the opposite, isn't it? If you go to a church, you give it respect.
Yeah. So it's just, venue to me, a venue needs to be so unique and out there that people go, I want to go there. And there's only a fair few venues that I can think of off the top of my head that people are going to go, yeah, I want to go there.
And you've got to say, which is your favourite venue? You don't have to be biased, you don't have to say it.
Which is my favourite venue? Well, I mean, I did do a ghost hunt at Newsham Park with another company, and that was all right, but I just needed more time. But the walk around freaked me out when I did my health and safety visit. That did freak me out, I'm not going to lie, because there's so much happening during the day. I mean, it was a lovely warm day, and I think we arrived about 1 o'clock. We left at 5, and every part of the building we went to, something happened. And it's just one of those buildings that draws you, and you're like, I want to go back. But do I want to go back? Because it's such an intimidating building.
It's a huge building as well.
It's enormous.
You can't see it all in one day.
No. But, I don't know, favourite building. Lancaster Grand. I don't know whether I can pick a favourite. That's the problem, because I've got different vibes from each building. And there's different things that I'd want to go back and look at. Like, for example, at Lancaster Grand, I was doing some B-roll footage with a camera on my own in the stalls, and just as I was panning around, I heard this whisper in my ear. And I crap myself, as you do. And when I played back the footage on the camera and slowed it down and enhanced the audio, it said, thank you. So it was almost as if somebody was on stage saying, thank you, I've done my show, thank you. And that's what I caught. And to me, I'd want to go back and investigate that sort of thing and see if I can catch it again. Here with Bruce in the cellar, lighting the cat balls up, I'd love him to do that again.
Well, you never know.
I never know. Tonight could be the night.
And where's the scariest place you've ever been to?
Well, before IHaunt was born, when we used to joke around ghost hunting, not that you should joke around because it's quite serious, we did go to the Lytham Crematorium. We took a dog with us, a husky, and he got really attracted to this one headstone, and we heard this sort of like rustling near the headstone, and he was like drawn to it. So we let him go over to it, and as he did, something must have touched him, because he yelped and squealed, as if he'd been hurt, like as if, like, what was that type of thing. And that freaked us out. That was like really scary, so we all legged it, like you do. And then we decided we were going to go back again with the dog, but then the dog wouldn't get out of the car because he knew where he was. Right. So that's a place that we've like really scared us for our first time. And then we set IHaunt up. And to be fair, any place with the lights out scares me. I'm not gonna lie. So if I've come for a ghost hunt, it's like in this place. I know obviously you're with us now because that's obviously the new guidelines. But when you let us lock up, I'm turning all the lights out. I'm getting, as soon as one light goes out, I'm scared again.
I know exactly what you mean there.
And then another move forward to the doors, and then another light goes out. I'm scared again now. Turn some more lights off, and it's all pitch black. And you go, right, need to get out, and it's just one of those things.
Now you know how I feel, Chris, when I used to lock up.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, going back to Mill Street Barracks, because we're here and you're doing the ghost hunt tonight. There is some creepy parts in the building.
Yes.
There's some nice parts where you think, yeah, that's fine. I'll turn the lights on. But then there are parts where you think, I don't really want to go in there on my own. And I must admit, my partner Marie usually walks around with me now because I've walked down here so many times on my own. It's been a bit nervy. There was one time, you know, you were saying about you took the dog and it yelped and everything else. Now I brought my nephew's dog here,
right.
And the top of the stairs, where you come through the main entrance, and you've got a set of stairs coming up, the big solid stairs. And he was at the bottom of the stairs, or she, sorry, the dog's a she. She was at the bottom of the stairs, and I was at the top of the stairs, and I was calling her up, and she wouldn't come up.
Right.
And I gradually got her to come up to the top of the stairs, and she got to the top of the stairs, looked behind me, turned round and curtailed right the way down the stairs. And it just kept, it sat there, and it just kept looking up as if there was something there next to me. And I tried everything to get her to come up. She would not come back up.
Well, that just sent shivers down the spine, actually, because last time we were here, two of the customers that have returned today was asking me if anything major had happened here. And as I was talking to him, I was stood near the canteen area, the kitchen, looking through the double doors at those stairs. And this dark figure was walking down the stairs.
Tonight?
No, not tonight.
Last time we were here.
Right, This dark figure was walking down the stairs, and it looked like it went out the main entrance. Now, I know nobody was in this side of the building. We was all in that side of the building in the hall. So what it was, I have no idea.
And just before we go, how can people get in touch with you, Chris? With your website?
So the new website is going to go live. It'll go live at the end of this month. But other than that, it's www.ihaunt.co.uk. That's not going to change. We do have a couple of other domains, which is our hashtag, which is Ghost Hunting Starts Here. You can do a .co.uk or .com at the end of that, and you go to the same place. And you can send me an email if you like at ihauntuk@gmail.com, and I'll answer any questions or queries customers may have.
So that was Chris Bowyer from iHaunt, who we interviewed last week.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And Chris has obviously been there many times to Mill Street, hasn't he?
He has, yes. That's why I nabbed him and said, "Oh, can he interview you?"
Yeah, so where are iHaunt based?
Up in Blackpool.
Right,
they travel from Blackpool way.
But they go all over. Well, obviously by the sounds of it, go all over the northwest. And
he does
country, really. Yeah. So and they've been going for what? Did he say 3 years? Was
I think he said 2017.
Oh, 2017 they started. Yeah. So and you stayed for the investigation as well. Did you have anything happen or?
To be honest with you, because it was their investigation, I just kept out the way a little bit. Did a couple of call-outs, but kept out the way. Yeah. I actually watched the monitors more than anything. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, but CCTV monitors, the kind of night vision and things.
Yeah, it was in the main hall, and I just sat there and watched them. And there was a couple of things which I found interesting, because what I can say is the CCTV they had on the night was crystal clear.
Yeah.
And it was weird to watch it, and then whatever was going on was behind me. I mean, I did see things, like a light anomaly.
Yeah.
And it went along, and it was a really unusual kind of light anomaly.
Yeah. A light anomaly. There we go. That's the one, isn't it?
I did mention it to them at the time, and I gave them the time and that.
So they can review the footage then, can't they? Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to your investigation you did earlier this week with yourself, Marie, Shell Louise and Mr Shell. And as I said earlier, I've listened to all this. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really interesting. And we hope you all enjoy listening to it. Here's the second part of Jamie's Paranormal Challenge. Bum, bum, bum.
I just see movement.
Okay, where did you see movement?
Just let my eyes readjust. Give me a minute. Yeah. Do you see it?
No.
I don't see anything. Did you see it? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong direction. That's all. Can't work out whether it's our torches, against the. Right, I'm putting on. So I can't work out whether it's my torches you know, casting a shadow against the glaze, or did it look like movement? See? You see that then?
Missed it. I was looking. I've just seen movement there.
See?
There's just. I can just see trees then, but a corner of my eye, I just seen something move across to the right.
Was it? I'd say, Simon, do me a favour. Take another picture by the taller. Right, before you take your picture.
I didn't expect that.
By the taller figure. See that there? That taller piece. Can you see it? Like the monument thing. By the side of that, to the left of that, take a flash picture. Is there something tall and black stood at the side of it? See it move then? You did. Everyone else see a shadow go across the front?
It might be the light. Hang on, do it again. Stay there.
Okay.
I didn't see there. I seen over here.
See, I saw
to the
that.
right.
Simon, do me a favour. Look at your last 4 pictures. Is there a black mass? Quite tall. Taller than you guys.
I just heard something then.
Yeah, it was there.
Hang on, let me just change the picture.
I know we are out in the open and there's going to be, you know, sounds like the leaves dropping from
Why
the
can't you see it? There it is. Why can't you see it though? See, on the last picture you could see it and now you can't see it. It's like something was in front of it. Hello?
I'm supposed to be taking Shell to some place I wanted to try.
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
100%. That was in...
Ray, did you just make a noise? Yeah. Did you?
Did you just go, ooh? Yeah.
You did? Yeah. Okay. That's debunked.
Debunked. Wow, that was pretty cool.
You know the movement was around here?
Yeah.
Try and have a look at the name, because you were picking up the name Rupert earlier on.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can see a name.
Come on, Rupert, are you here?
Because this is where the movement is, isn't it?
Can you show yourself to us?
And do you think it could be guiding us to him, to his resting place? Can I just ask something? Yeah. That's a rabbit or something. It's a bird. Let's just answer that question.
Well, I was thinking, can you?
So what if, hey, Shell, if Wayne was here now, we'd be down there, wouldn't it?
Would he?
Yeah.
If I was here on my own, I would have been in one of these graves. Right, Shell, what I want you to do is where we are now, is I want you to see if you can pick up anything in this area. There's a reason why I'm asking that anyway. If we can just, do you want to sit here and just see if you can pick anything up? No. Okay. What have you got?
Oh, when you said sit here, I got clear, don't.
Okay, there's the reason why.
What is under this? Who is under this? Holy moly. No, don't. I started to follow you and I got clear. Don't. What was here before?
Do you want me to tell you?
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off when I've stopped recording.
Is this a chapel of some kind?
Okay, I'm not telling Shell anything at all. I'm trying to see if Shell can pick up. And she,
right,
you can tell her.
Oh,
okay.
That went right through me. This is a place of worship. This is a chapel. Holy moly! Sorry for using that word.
That's okay. It's not a swear word, so you're all right.
Wow. So that's why I'm not allowed to sit here. They've got to be respectful. No. That's crazy. Is this the original in the whole place?
I can't tell you just yet.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. I need to go that side. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I went to sit down, he went, don't.
Was it a clear voice or?
Yeah, very clear voice. This is a chapel. This is a...
Don't as if to say, just like, oh, you know, just don't do that.
This is like a
don't, like,
church. Holy moly. Sorry guys, I'm not disrespecting you.
When you heard don't or whatever, what sort of, how did it come across don't as if like a light don't or a heavy don't? Do you know what I mean? What did you get?
A man's voice.
No,
Don't.
but in what sort of tone?
Stern. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Wow. Whoa. Oh, this place is giving me the heebie-jeebies this point. Seriously, Jay. That was weird. Weirded me out. When I went to sit, clear as day, don't. And then I just saw the building come up in front of me, like, this is a chapel.
Right.
Don't sit here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Wow. Holy moly.
But what we'll do now is I'm going to walk you somewhere else and see what you think. Has the K2 gone off at all?
Not yet, no.
No?
Sorry.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'm feeling alright.
No, I'm not welcome here at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we walk away from it? I've got to say, tonight's brought up a few surprises for us, especially us, Marie, because we tend to have a walk around here occasionally.
We do, yes.
And I think Shell will be... Do you know what?
What is it?
Yeah, right. That ain't funny.
Okay. What was that?
What's up with you? Were you two being touched?
Yeah, on my face. Like
See,
I've just had
turned
that.
round.
Yeah,
I've just
I've had
turned
the
round
same.
and there's a man, I swear,
Where are you?
don't even do this.
Honestly,
He was here in gown.
Right.
Well, I've just been standing there.
there's nothing on me, is there?
No.
2 red lights.
Well, I've just done the same. I've just done the same. I just felt as if... Can I just show you? I just felt that.
I see it. Because
Did you see it?
I was here, Marie was there, and you was there, and Simon was there, and as I turned round, he's just there, between the two of you, full form, here.
Wow.
Wow.
Here.
I've seen 2 little red lights, like about 20 foot away.
To see.
Okay.
About 5 foot high.
I am not welcome here.
Okay.
I am not welcome here.
Shell, I'm going to stand here and I'll do a call. Can you just keep an eye? Okay, the person who just tried to touch me then in the face, can you do it again? We're not doing you any harm. We don't want to be disrespectful, sorry. Can I just... Has anybody got a torch just to shine over there? I've just seen... I'm a bit uncomfortable now. I've just seen... like I thought it was like a shadow of someone standing there.
Was it a man in like a triangular shape?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was tall.
Told ya. He was there. That's cool. It's what I said. I'm not
Nah.
here, and I turned around, you just stood there.
I'll have to think about that. Have you?
Right.
And I haven't told Shell what this is. I haven't told her anything about it yet. This way. Do you want to come this way, Shell? We'll move away from here and let's give them some respect. What's that light on there? Oh, was that the K2?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to grab that? Yeah, please.
James.
Yeah?
No, his name is James. I'm walking away.
Oh, right.
Simple. Can I go this way?
Yeah, we'll just follow you, Shell.
No, I know where we're going because I need to walk away from him.
This way. Can we go this way? Because I still haven't got to where I wanted to show you.
So sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just getting proper.
Right, so I'm going to take you somewhere. I'm going to take you somewhere else now, Shell.
He's called James.
Right. That's what my name is. My name's James, although they call me Jamie.
How can you be so nice?
So you have to be, don't you?
When Shell runs, we run after her. We run.
Yeah.
All the echoes, every hair is standing up on my face. That was, do you know when? Have you ever walked into somewhere like a seedy pub?
Yeah.
I'm not calling it a pub.
Yeah.
You ever walked into a seedy pub and you look round and you just think, get out?
I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like.
That's
just,
how I'm felt.
Turn around and walk
As if to
straight
say,
back out quick.
you don't belong here.
Yeah.
You,
Right.
me. Maybe it's because of what I do.
Mhm.
but big man, don't want me there.
Right. But I felt the same as you did. Something touched my face. It was
it's going off.
It's like
it's
a
going
web.
Red.
What's going red?
Is that near your phone?
Oh, yeah.
No.
All right.
Well, it gave a bit of
debunk
excitement, didn't it? So,
And that
Well,
was, sorry, that
it's
was
okay.
bizarre because I saw it at exactly the same time. I said to you, whoa, no, that needs to stop. And he's shown himself full form at the same time that both of us was touched in the face.
exactly the same time we both, and we were standing nearly next to each other at the
And
time.
it was between you both.
Yeah.
That was eerie. Well, good.
Sorry, Marie.
But eerie.
Right, this is going off and my phone's on thingy. This was just going off then. It just went to
James,
the yellow.
don't follow us. I don't know if you find this funny or have I
Well,
upset you.
Can I just say something? I'm not going to say, well, no, I'm not going to tell you. What I'm doing now is I'm walking you somewhere else. And there's a reason why I'm walking you this way as well, Shell. So if we keep walking, you're going to see why soon.
So, James, that was the second part of our investigation which you sent us on. What did you think of that part as well?
You know what? I thought it was really fascinating. You know, the thing is what's really interesting is that we're obviously, you know, editing that audio, and just when we was doing that earlier, we've actually heard a few things on there which we can't really. They're quite strange. And what we're going to do is spend a little bit of time through the week just analysing them, so we can hopefully figure out what they were. If there's anything that we think is potentially unexplainable, then we're going to put it on the show next week, aren't we?
Yeah, because we I mean, the investigation isn't finished yet. There's so much happened.
Yeah.
That we've decided to carry it on to the next show.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've never done this before. We've never thought about that. And, you know, anybody who's out there who's listening, wait for the third part.
Well, I've heard a little bit of it, and I absolutely can't wait for everyone to hear it because it's fascinating. But I think the other thing is that you know yourself from doing lots of investigations over the years, and I have as well. It's very rare you go to somewhere and have so much happening like that. You know, normally you'll get something that happens and then there's a big pause and nothing, and then something happens. That is more or less constantly things happening. And I thought it was interesting where you and Mr Shell felt something on your face at the same time, and at the exact time Shell said that she'd seen a figure.
That's right, yeah. It was like something touched our face. You know, it felt like, to be honest with you, it felt like a very gentle hand. But Shell was saying things like, you know, no, we've got to move away from here and that.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his way of pushing us away.
I mean, the sceptical side of me would say it's outdoors. Could it not have been, you know, spiders, webs, or something that were going across?
No, because
I mean, you obviously I wasn't there. That's the sceptical me. But from your point of view, what would you say to that?
I wouldn't say it was a spider's web whatsoever, because where we were, the trees were around us, but they were in, a distance away from us. We were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Near this all I can say was a raised lawn.
Yes.
There was no way a spider's web could be where we were.
Because it was an open space. Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? Absolutely fascinating. But it's been a really interesting show, and it's going to be great to listen to the rest of the investigation next week.
I'm actually looking forward to it myself.
And we did discuss it as well, didn't we? Because, normally we'll try and have the full investigation on the show, but there's so much in this one that we really want to share with everyone as much as we can. Obviously we've got a limited amount of time.
And I did say to you, when I sent it over to you, I said, James, you got to listen to this. This was a really good night.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's good that it's recorded as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, next week's show, what can we, anything particular we can look forward to?
No, you're just going to have to wait and see.
Oh,
but
Mystique.
we do have some listeners who've been messaging us.
Oh, have we really? Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay.
We've had some, what's nice though, we've had some really good feedback from them, which I'm glad about.
Fantastic.
There's Chris, not Chris, that's my nephew, and I get his name wrong, that's my other cousin. But there's Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew listens all the way down in Wiltshire.
Yeah.
So at least we're getting the distance.
Indeed.
And we've also got Andrea, who's up in Derbyshire, who's been listening as well. So hello to them too.
Hello, folks, and we hope you continue to enjoy the show. And also, we always say this every week: if people want to get in touch to send in their ghost stories or to suggest a location for us to investigate, they can get in touch with us at the email address, which is
info.accessparanormal@gmail.com.
That's the very first time I think you've got it. You can't see him, everyone, but he's just cheering, punching the air in the studio here now because he's that excited that he's finally got it right. So, you know what I was thinking? Obviously, you've done your first Jamie's Paranormal Challenge. And I thought that for the next one, rather than it just being you, I think that me and you on our own should go to somewhere and do an investigation on our own.
I'm up for that.
Right, and you get to pick this time.
Definitely.
Right, so you get the choice. You get the choice of picking where we go.
Okay.
Is that fair, considering I picked this one?
Oh, I think it's completely fair.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to wear flares. So, Jamie, you've got a bit of filming going on tomorrow, haven't you? You're being interviewed for the television?
Yeah, and I didn't expect it. They just gave me a ring and said, can we come along to film you and do an interview with you? And I went, yeah, no problem, that's fine. So tomorrow, 2:00, I've got the first part, and then later on in the afternoon, I've got the second part.
And have you got your own trailer and makeup specialist and everything like that you're going to be sat in?
It's in the dark, I'm not worried.
Yeah, it's one of the things, isn't it, if you're ever doing something with paranormal stuff, you know, you're going into a dark building and everyone, you know, you don't wear makeup because you're spending your night in a dark, damp cellar or something. So you've done a few TV shows now, haven't you, interviews for them?
I have, yeah. The biggest one I've done is Paranormal Lockdown.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then I did one with you called The Ghosts of.
Ghosts of, yeah. That was a good few years ago now, about 4 years ago, wasn't it, I think?
Must be, yeah. And I've done a couple of things for Amazon Prime. I've been on a couple of the ghost shows on there.
Yeah.
So when they ask me, I'll just say, yeah, I'll do it. You know, it's something I enjoy it, you know.
Well, the thing is as well, is that you're passionate about it. And that's the key thing, isn't it? You know, and you've got a lot of knowledge, and that's one. You know, when I watched Paranormal Lockdown when it came out, one of the things I loved is that there was a lot of your story in there as well, which I think, you know, as your friend was quite a special thing to see, wasn't it?
It does, and it's special to me because obviously my dad was brought up in that because, I mean, he was based at the barracks when he filmed it there.
Yeah. So it's the end of this week's show. We've almost run out of time. We've got a lot of exciting stuff, no doubt, coming over the next couple of weeks, which Jamie won't tell me.
Well, no, it spoils it, doesn't it? You know, you've got to get the listeners to come back and see what's going on, you know.
Indeed, yeah. So it's been an absolute pleasure, folks. Have a lovely week, and we'll see you at the same time, 8 till 10 p.m. next Sunday.
And thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to doing the same thing again next week.